wanted to talk to you about something really interesting. Anybody heard about blockchain being a trust machine? Yes. Why is blockchain a trust machine? Because of its unique architecture. But you know, today we live in a world where we operate in silos, where we operate in organizations that don't necessarily communicate with one another. Imagine a world where we can get rid of these silos and collaborate together, where we can provide value for our customers, where we can move and protect different digital assets, such as HR assets that we're going to talk about today. My name is Gally Wester, and I co-founded Plazus Technologies. And our focus is to help companies discover what is it that they can do to use the power of blockchain to provide value for their customers. Our focus is, like was said, in HR-sensitive data, in customers that are interested in looking at customer loyalty using blockchain technology, and also customers that are looking for overcoming security gaps and automation of business flows. And today, I'm going to talk to you about automation of these business flows and how it can be very valuable for your customers. We have a massive opportunity. When you think about different digital data and assets, right? It is your responsibility as businesses to move and protect these assets. And if you look at these examples, you will notice that it is much more than payments. It could be asset tracking, it could be claim management, it can be anything that has to do with healthcare. One of the use cases that I will share very briefly today, and I would love to talk to you about it afterwards, at the break, is a use case of a project that we're doing in Mexico. Did you know that in Mexico, people get paid their salaries in cash? Did you know that they pay their bills in cash? And what happens when they pay in cash? All of a sudden, they become vulnerable. You know, people get mugged every 1st and 15th of the month because they carry the cash with them, and people know that they are vulnerable, and so they get mugged. And what is the solution for that? What is the solution for countries such as Mexico, such as Latin America, parts of Southeast Asia, when those countries have the majority of the population that are unbanked, the majority of population that are very vulnerable, where they have the lack of trust in banks and institutions? What happens when you have lack of trust? You need to put everybody together to collaborate. So the project that we're doing in Mexico is very interesting because they're going to be working with universities, and there's about 8 million users of students that are going to be paid their scholarships in that coin, and union workers going to be paid 10% of their salary in that coin. So we're building a digital wallet with a digital currency for them to be able to provide payments and pay vendors and bills. They already signed contracts with hydro companies and cell phone companies so they can pay their bills, and they can also communicate with one another and have like a marketplace. This project is really interesting because it applies to a use case of not only payments, but also peer-to-peer transactions that can be in an ecosystem of a marketplace. These are the challenges with that project, and I'll welcome you to come talk to us afterwards. Today, I wanted to do this a little bit differently. I do a lot of public speaking, but today I wanted to bring to the stage our dear customer, John. John runs Move Group, and he is an engineer in his background, and he is a seasoned entrepreneur, and he's going to come to the stage and talk to you about what Move does in the business of HR. What are the challenges that they're facing, that each and every one of you can relate to these challenges, and then afterwards I'm going to come back on stage and tell you what we're doing to solve some of these challenges using blockchain technology. Please help me welcome John to the stage.
Hello, I'm John. I'm the director of Move Group. What does Move Group do? Well, it actually is all about business expansion. We support companies, small companies and large companies, to expand their businesses. We work with sort of small SMEs where they want to have a low-cost setup in a company, or even very large organizations like Facebook, Coinbase, Harvard University, to give you a few. And they want to hit the ground running. So how do we do this? We have 55 entities throughout the world of our own. We manage the whole solution. We also have partnerships with many partners, and they assist us to set up solutions. In total, we have over 160 solutions in countries worldwide. One important point here is we manage the solution from beginning to end. We always take control over the whole solution. So you always deal with our experts who have got a lot of experience in dealing with the payroll, visas, and anything associated with people operating and being employed in other countries. Well, as you can imagine, we have a lot of challenges. And I met Galia and we talked about the challenges we have. Some of these are quite, well, they're all quite obvious, I think. You see, sensitive data globally, right? Well, as a company that deals with employment, we have to gather a lot of information of passport information and personal information, which you know that GDPR covers. Very, very important. So we have to manage that. Manual processes. We have many manual processes in our company, and we have many people that are different departments, different parties managing the data. And quite often, right, we have multiple, we have times when the same data is actually entered by various people. We want to simplify this and make it efficient. Constant evolution to keep, because we've got competition. Competition in our business is very, very aggressive and very dirty at times as well. Now, we need to keep on the leading edge of technology. I'm an engineer myself. I know that technology is important to us. And it's very, very important to be associated with the top technologies. I heard about blockchain, and it seemed a good idea to possibly investigate whether we can use this. And that is what we're doing now. Integration with existing back-end systems. We have so many back-end systems. We have Salesforce, HR packages, 365, and numerous other packages of software. And we have to integrate all these, and that's what we're trying to do this moment. Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about some of the solutions and just enhance some of the challenges. When you think about multiple parties that are involved, what happens if multiple parties have different databases, different systems, and they're all manipulate sometimes the same data? What happens? Disputes. And when there's a dispute, everybody loses either time or money. And in order to overcome the disputes, we really need one true source. We need one true source of the data. And so if you think about business flows, such as an onboarding flow, when you have to onboard a worker globally, you have to take care of visa. You have to worry about GDPR rules. You have to be compliant. You have to be compliant within the rules. So what we're doing with Move is we're actually recording some of these actions on the blockchain to provide proof. We're actually automating this, all these manual processes, using blockchain technology because it can solve these really true pain points. Now, we are in Europe, and we have to comply with GDPR rules, not only for companies, but also for workers and wherever they are. And it's not that just GDPR rules that are here, it's actually privacy rules that apply around the world. And governments are going to start collaborating, and they're going to start having treaties, and they're going to start doing audits for every single company. So we have to be aware of how can we be compliant. So think about providing proof of GDPR. When someone asks you to be deleted, because they have the right to be forgotten, but in order to be deleted, you have to know where is that individual's data at, and what is the individual data that we hold in our database, right? So it's important to track and see where is that data? And then when you remove that data, it's important for you to provide proof so that when the auditors are going to come, and they're going to come, then you're going to have automatic proof, and you will be compliant. Now I want to spend, this is how the Move tech looks like, but I want to spend maybe 30 seconds or so to give you a glimpse into the future. Right? Think about the future. We are here at the conference and we're talking about blockchain solutions for enterprises, right? For middle-sized companies. But who did we forget? We forgot the startups. We forgot the solopreneurs. Imagine a future where you're going to have solopreneurs that are going to be able to provide services that are backed by blockchain technology, right? Think about a service provider like a lawyer. They are so good at writing their legal documents, which they will continue to do so. But imagine that they can enforce a legal document for an issue such as copyrights. An artist is going to come to this lawyer and he's going to say, hey, I just created a new song and dance. Can you protect me with the copyrights law? And of course they're going to do that, but they can also provide proof on the blockchain that this copyright is in fact in order. And the way they do that in the future is they're going to have some sort of a widget where it's a drag and drop do-it-yourself tool, and boom, you just provided a service that is backed by proof on the blockchain. The second thing that we put our focus on is how do we help companies. When we integrate blockchain technology, it's not enough because you're using systems and business apps like Salesforce, like Sage, like many, many other applications that do not talk to one another, and most certainly do not talk in blockchain language. And thirdly, we're also focusing on creating some really sophisticated BI tools to really handle the mass amounts of data with the transactions on the blockchain. This is really exciting, and we see a future where blockchain technology can be adopted by every single business, can be adopted and seen by every single user. And it's really exciting to be here today, and I want to thank you very much for your time.